The word of the day, exempt. To excuse or release from some obligation or requirement. No table topic speaker will be exempt from using the word of the day. Exempt. To excuse or release from some obligation or requirement. No table topic speaker will be exempt from using the word of the day. Exempt. Okay, and my order here is right here. And speaker number one is Francisco. If you could travel through time, what time would you choose to visit? If you could travel through time, what time would you choose to visit? Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Just a fellow Toastmasters and first welcome guest. First, just to give you a side note, I know my camera's not working at the moment, so I understand that's a disadvantage, but I'm still not exempt from participating in table topics, so I'm okay with that. That's fine. I believe that if I were able to travel through time, it would be going into the future because the past. I like to think that the past is the past, and if I ever wanted to know something, I could just read a history book. And I prefer to be more of a person that likes to think forward, ahead of the future, see what lies ahead. Why not? If I won't be here 100 years from now, then if I get the chance to travel into the future, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. You get to see what kind of technology has taken over. Are we still on Earth? Are we in Mars? Are we in those Jupiter moons? It's just the the opportunities are, well, astronomical. See how far we can go, and just having that experience, I believe it will be like no other. And if I'm able to travel back, then I would definitely see what I can make in the stock market and then make myself rich. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Okay, thank you. Francisco, speaker number two is Peter. If you were given the opportunity to be famous for something, what would it be? If you were given the opportunity to be famous for something, what would it be, Peter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Sometimes I want to accept myself for doing any common things, but I want to be exemplary in what I do. Probably I want to, if I'm famous, I would have be an athlete, particularly could be American football, international football, any sport. But if I'm famous, I'll be a NFL quarterback trying to have a lot of records to myself. I always dreamt of being a great athlete. And if I were famous, I would have had like 10 Super Bowl rings, or a lot of football records that no other person cannot attain in the future. And also have a great wife and lots of kids. But I'm not Tom Brady. I'd rather be Aaron Rodgers, except for, of course, the COVID thing. But unlike Tom Brady, I would just want to be just a normal guy who's not into this famous, want to be with the rich people, the celebrities, and just live a normal life as I can. Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Sure.
Our third speaker is Suzanne. You have been granted the power to read people's minds. How will this affect you?
Wow.
You have been granted the power to read people's minds. How will this affect you? Suzanne.
Well, I will be choosy about the minds that I read, for sure. I'll have to kind of source them, find out what they're about, and then participate in whatever wonderful dream is percolating there. Are you going to be a breakthrough scientist, an educator, a musician, an artist? But I will be choosy about those minds and just give them a little prompting, perhaps like, since we're going back in time a bit with these questions, Tom, once upon a time, there was a program called The Millionaire. Raise your hand if you remember it. Raise your hand if you got some money from that. No. But I would like to, once I'm reading minds, I would like to be the benefactor of wonderful things for wonderful people. But first of all, a lot of research for the minds that I stepped into, because a mind can be a scary place, and also be a wonderful place for helping hatch ideas. So I would like to use that gift to move forward people who have great contributions to make as we go to Mars or wherever. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. And we go to speaker number 4. Elyssa?
I'm sorry, is that me? I thought I was number 6.
No, Musa.
I think Musa got the 4th. 6 is Elyssa, and 5 is Lois. Okay. All right, speaker number 4. Musa, you can make yourself invisible. How will you use your power? You can make yourself invisible. How will you use your power? Musa?
So fellow Toastmasters. Actually, I was not even thinking to be invisible. I would like to be visible and be noticed, because nobody noticed me at this moment. So what I would like to see is, by giving good speeches, by preparing myself and study more, to volunteer, to do more work. So I like to be noticed. As a district division director, visiting clubs helped me a lot. That also, at least, I can introduce myself with many people. At the same time, my ability to at least, to speak currently is not even judged, but what I would like to do is to be visible more. I am a very quiet guy, so invisible is not the word for me, I think. So in a general sense, if I'm visible enough to be known, if I can do some work, I can volunteer my time, if I can help people, this is what I would like to do. So even with these holidays, invisibility might not be a chance for me. I like to be visible enough. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Musa. And we go to speaker number 5. And that is Lois. I did not pick this. It just came up by chance, Lois.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. I just see it coming, Tom.
You have run away to the circus. What part would you like to play in the show? You have run away to the circus. What part would you like to play in the show? Lois.
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master. Fellow Toastmasters. When I was a little girl, I grew up on a farm and we had a lot of work, not much play. We were exempt from playtime. I wanted to run away to the circus. And I read this book about Toby, who ran away to the circus. And he was a helping hand. He helped people here and there. But my goal to run away to the circus was to be the girl in a pretty ballerina suit who stood on top of the horses and ran through the tent. And I had little pom-poms, and I would just dance on top of the horse's back as we went around and around. I really, truly wanted to do this. I did. And I was so jealous of Toby. He did, like I said, run away to the circus, but you know, he came up on hard times. And so when I really thought about running away, and I did once, I ran away. My sister Debbie convinced me it was the right thing to do, and it was not. I ended up crying, and I was so happy when my mother came. I decided not to run away to the circus. However, I love animals. I grew up on a farm, as I mentioned, and learned to communicate with the animals. And that was my circus. And I had 10 brothers and sisters. And I'll tell you, it was a circus every day. And for those of you who know me, know that I have lived that life. So yes, my childhood dream was to run away and join the circus, but I ended up living at my own home with my parents and generated a circus. Thank you so much, Mr. Table Topics, for that excellent question.
Thank you, Lois. And we have one more contestant in this event, this special event, and that is Elyssa. And Alyssa's topic is, if you could bring any two people throughout history together, who would they be and why would you like to be there? If you could bring any two people in history together, who would they be and why would you like to be there? Elyssa?
I could bring any two people together. Right away, it comes to mind Abe Lincoln. Fabulous, fantastic person in history that we all admire and look up to. But can you imagine if we brought together Abe Lincoln with George Washington? What an outstanding combination that would be. George Washington brought the United States to where we have it today. Our freedom, our liberties were founded and directed by his incredible leadership. He was an amazing president. I remember learning in history class that he gave up the presidency. He said 2 terms and that's it for me. And the supporters around him, his fans, his colleagues, and said, George Washington, you're the best. Stay in office and continue to be president. And he said, no, it's time for a president to step down because it can be too much power for just one person. And I'm going back to the fields where I came from. He had a servant's heart. He loved the people. He loved his army. And most of all, he loved the United States. And thanks to him, we are here today. But can you imagine what would happen to the United States if we hadn't also had Abe Lincoln? And what amazes me about Abe Lincoln is that what many of us don't even consider, because we always associate him with the Civil War, is the fact that he battled incredible bouts of depression. He lost children. He had a wife with mental illness who was not able to support him and necessarily be by his side. And in the spite of all of this darkness and difficulty, trauma, and terrible situations, he forged a way ahead because he put the people he was serving beyond and in front of himself. And I cannot imagine what would begin to happen in the United States if we had George Washington meets up with Abe Lincoln. We have so many problems today. We have difficulties, we struggle. We can find lots of complaints about COVID and how it's been about. But boy, these two characters might have a lot of answers. And in the meantime, perhaps we can learn the lessons and forge a way just like they did. So let's be like Abe Lincoln and let's be like George Washington and make a difference in this world.
Okay, thank you, Elyssa. Well, again, I can't report to you who used the word, but we can get a report. Those will have to come in the minds of the judges. And remember, you can vote in your own, everybody gets to vote, even the participants. But I do need a timing report, and that would be Marilyn. Oh, you're muted, Marilyn. I'll do announcements next.
You think after so many times with Zoom, I'd unmute myself. Oh, well. Live and learn. Francisco was 139. Let's see, 2 was Peter with 151. Suzanne, 118. let's see, for Musa, 123. Lois was 145. And Elyssa was 205. So all qualified.